What's up everyone, MeJP2 here, and in today's video we have one of the best videos I'll ever upload to this channel with a level 51 gligar in the Open Ultra League. Now gligar is a ground flying type, and when best buddied at level 51, it hits about 2,100 combat power. So I did decide I was going to run an ABB style team with Ludicolo, gligar, and gliscor, because you can usually bait out any counters to gligar with the gliscor. Like if they have like Feraligatr or the near extinct Walrein, then that can bait them out. So that usually does leave gligar with opportunities to sweep, because a lot of teams have like one counter to gliscor, but the other two Pokemon can be weak to it. So if they think they've gotten the gliscor out of the way, they think their team's safe. But no, there's another ground flying type. Because ground flying is so unique, it's just good at core breaking. So being able to run two ground flying types is actually extremely fun, and I did overall gain elo with this team. Anyways, let's get to the battles. Alright, so into the first battle, and we lead Ludicolo into Aurorus. Also, these battles are slightly faster because I have a lot of battles because I just could not stop running this team because of how fun it was. But also, we lead into Aurorus, and since this team is an ABB style team, I am going to send in gliscor, try to bait out whatever response they have so that gligar doesn't have a bad matchup waiting for it in the back. Now, they send in Venusaur, and this is technically kind of a flippable matchup, honestly. Like, I can technically shield here, and I might even be able to make it to an Earthquake. Now, my gliscor, since it is pretty high rank, does make it to the Earthquake. And this Earthquake will be grabbing me Switch and Shield. So now, they can send the Aurorus, but we have gligar, and they send in Machamp. Oh no, they thought they were safe. They thought they were safe now that gliscor was gone, but there's just another ground flying type in the back. Oh, this is so unfortunate for them. They go for the Rock Slide, and you can see there, gligar is not glassy at all. It's still got some very nice bulk. The Aurorus can go for the Brutal Swing, but I tank that, and I'm going to be able to go for a Dig, and Dig still does a ton of damage considering it's from a gligar in the Ultra League. But we make it to a second Dig, and gligar is able to sweep that game for us, and we do take that game. We see a Charizard on the lead in the next battle. And Charizard, this one's actually running Fire Spin, which is a lot better because Fire Spin is only neutral, whereas Wing Attack would be hitting for super effective. But I am going to be shielding because Blast Burn doesn't one-shot Ludicolo, but it would basically get it into Fire Spin farm down range, and I don't want them to be able to just shield and farm down. Now, they will be able to make it to another Blast Burn here. I think this is a Blast Burn, I'm not 100% sure, but I will be no-shielding it. They do go for a bait, though, so I guess I'll never know if they actually were at Blast Burn, but I am able to take them out with the Scald. And then they send in Feraligatr, and then they send in Clefable. So the opponent tried to snipe with Charm, but my Ludicolo banked a Scald. Unfortunately, my Ludicolo is on like 2 HP, so I cannot make it to an Energy Ball into the Feraligatr, so I just have to pray that I can get him low enough with gligar or gliscor, and it looks like I probably will be able to. They will be able to charm down my gliscor, but this Earthquake will hit for some very nice damage. And it does leave gligar with the perfect opportunity to get 3 Wing Attacks worth of energy. Now, this is one of those things, I don't need to take out the Feraligatr, but I do need to get them into a range where a Scald will KO. And they can go for a move here. I can shield because Ludicolo probably is low enough, like I think it's on like 1 HP, so a shield might still even get KO'd through the shield. But I can go for an Aerial Ace. This Aerial Ace will get them into Scald range. I can send in Ludicolo, and I will get the Snipe. Scald will take out the Feraligatr, and I am able to take that game. We see Shadow Dragonite on the lead in the next battle. Pretty bad, so I'm going to send in gliscor. The opponent, they're actually staying in, so maybe this is their best matchup. Now I'm going to be going for Night Slash. They don't have to shield that, because Night Slash will not KO. And they can go for a Dragon Claw here, but gliscor is pretty bulky, so it will tank the Dragon Claw. Now, I can go for a Night Slash as well, but the opponent, if they want to, they can shield and probably farm down. They choose not to, though. They're probably just going to take the fact that they got rid of the gliscor and just expect that whatever they have in the back should be able to do fine. So then they send in Skeledirge. I can send in Ludicolo. A Shadow Ball doesn't KO here, so I never shield because they usually bait anyways. They do bait with a Disarming Rush, and it's Registeel! Oh, no. It's also slightly under-leveled Registeel, but it is a nightmare for Registeel in this matchup. Focus Blast, they still can't KO with 2 Focus Blasts, and these Digs will hit very hard. Granted, I did say the Registeel is under-leveled, but it's just an awful matchup. Even if they did have a fully powered-up Registeel, they'd still lose this. They can go for a Zap Cannon. They don't even get a debuff. Gligar gets the full farm down, and we'll be able to force the shield with Dig as well. They have to shield this, because otherwise they will get taken out. I can send in Ludicolo. The Incinerate sneaks, but we have a Scald loaded, so I don't really care, as Scald takes him out, so that Incinerate never registers, and we get the 2 shield flex. We see another Ampharos in the lead in the next battle. We already know the drill. Send in Gliscor. His opponent sends in Steelix. Now, I thought Steelix was extinct, honestly. Like, I have my own Steelix that I run in the Ultra League, but I only run that when I'm, like, running, like, extremely spicy stuff, because I need something that can tank hits. But I thought Steelix was gone. I go for a Night Slash bait, and I even get the shield. Now I can go for an Earthquake. Now, this Earthquake does some very nice damage, and even if they get more Breaking Swipe debuffs, Earthquake should still be able to get them into a range where they'll get KO'd. Now, I will be just going straight Earthquake here, because I either get a shield advantage or I just pull switch advantage, and I am able to get the shield. Now, they send in Poliwrath, and now we have Gligar. I have both my shields here, so I can just shield the Icy Winds. They are up a slight amount of energy, but since we have shields, we can just shield the Icy Winds, and while the Aerial Aces will be debuffed, like this next one will not KO, but if I want to, I can just shield, and I will be able to get the full farm down of the Poliwrath. It actually works in my favor getting debuffed, because I get 3 wing attacks, and I should be able to just switch out into Ludicolo after whatever they bring in. They send in the Ampharos, though, and I'd rather not send in Ludicolo, but it's fine. They then switch out into Steelix, trying to snipe with a Breaking Swipe, but I actually am able to just catch it on a Gliscor. And now, I can just go for a Dig into the Steelix, and the Ampharos will also get hit by a Dig, so this is fine. Now, the Ampharos tries to farm down, but they're just going to get hit by a Dig. So, even if they are able to farm me down, it's way too low, as we have a full health Ludicolo in the back, so this game is fully over. They can go for whatever move they want here. Even a Zap Cannon wouldn't KO. They go for the Brutal Swing, and they're just going to get farmed down. We do take that game. We see Venusaur on the lead in the next battle, and Ludicolo is fully walled, so I will be sending in Gliscor. The opponent farms up a bit and then sends in Swampert. Now, Swampert is not good for Gliscor, but it's good that I baited it out. So I can go for a Night Slash here, and I am baiting. I want to try and get a shield. I don't get the shield, and now I realize that I won't be able to make it to an Earthquake, because they'll just CMP time me when I make it to the Earthquake. So I'm going to go for a Night Slash. They think I was at the Earthquake, though, so they do end up shielding, and that's perfect. I can get taken out by the Hydro Cannon, but now up a shield. So Ludicolo doesn't need shields to beat Swampert, so after this, I can just send in Gligar immediately, and I can hope that 2-shield Gligar has play into whatever they have in the back. Now, they go for an Earthquake, so thankfully no Sludge Wave, even though we would have tanked that. But now, we can go for Scald, and Scald will take them out. When they send in the Venusaur, we're going to be sending in Gligar, and they have Skeledirge in the back. So, this is possible, but it does look like Gligar might just get overloaded because of how much health both the Pokemon have. So, I can just throw a Dig here. This is a baiting game. Hopefully, I can land a Dig. I do land a Dig, and now I can go for Aerial Aces, because Aerial Ace will KO from this range. But now that it's even shields, and the fact that that Venusaur has quite a lot of energy, this is not good all of a sudden. So, the fact that that Venusaur, like them farming up before switching out, probably will win this game, because that little bit of farm they got in the beginning is going to win the game. Now, I am able to catch on to Ludicolo. Pretty good, but it doesn't take me out. If that had fully taken me out, that actually would have been better, because I would have gotten 2 extra wing attacks into the Venusaur, and as you can see, that decides the game. If they had gotten to fully take out Ludicolo with that Frenzy Plant, we would have won that game. We see Charizard on the lead in the next battle again. Now, Charizard, this one's running Wing Attack, so it is a pretty big baiting game. I am going to shield here, and they do go for the Blast Burn, which is very good that I didn't shield the bait. And now, they're going to be hit by a Scald. Scald does land, and now I am going to just call a bait here. If they go for a Blast Burn, I send in Gliscor and just farm down. But it's fine. Now, I probably wouldn't be able to farm down before they make it to a Blast Burn. So they actually do just go straight Dragon Claw. And then they send in Steelix. Now, this Steelix is on Thunderfang, which is... that's the least of our problems. It's a Steelix. But they can go for a Breaking Swipe here, if they have it. And they do. Now, Breaking Swipe does get the attack drop, which is quite annoying. But thankfully, since we already landed a non-debuffed Earthquake, this one will take them out. Now, they do just get taken out, and then they send in Shadow Granbull. Now, Shadow Granbull is not good for Gligar, simply because Gligar it's not the bulkiest thing like Gliscor. Gliscor is bulkier than Gligar, but the fact that Gligar is up against a Charmer is still not good. On the bright side, they don't get a Crunch debuff, and then they try and catch on the Charizard. So this might be possible now. Now, I'm not risking going for the new mechanic, so I am just going to throw the dig straight away. But it doesn't take him out, but gliscor gets the farm down, and we are able to take that game. We see Annihilate on the lead of the next battle, and once again, we have two better responses in the back. I will send in Gliscor. Gligar technically is the better response because Aerial Ace will hit for super effective, but I am going to send in Gliscor, and we get a boost. We get a boost. This is going to get crazy all of a sudden. The opponent sends in Chandelure, and that is not a response to Gliscor, especially after seeing Night Slash. We will be able to just pull all their shields, and we should be able to make it to another Night Slash. We'll be able to make it to another Night Slash, and we're 2 off. We're taking Switch here. They need one more Incinerate, but we'll register this before they're able to get to their next move. This does take them out, and while the Incinerate does register, that's kind of annoying, but it's fine. Now, the opponent is going for a move here with the Obstagoon, and, oh, they Obstruct. They fully undercharge it, and they have made a massive misplay, as they have lost all of their HP. Now, I can send in Ludicolo, just try to get some extra farm. They can go for an Obstruct here, or a Night Slash, doesn't really matter. Night Slash lands. We can go for a Scald into this Annihilate. Scald should take him out, or come at least very close, and it does nearly take him out. We send in Gligar, and the opponent concedes the match. We see another Charizard on the lead in the next battle. And, like, my elo wasn't, like, 1,800 for this, because I was getting pretty low just by getting RPS'd. The opponent catches the Scald. They catch down a Venusaur. Now, I am going to farm up. I am trying to catch a Sludge Bomb. I don't catch it, which is really unfortunate. However, if they make it to 2 Frenzy Plants, we did get the debuff, so 2 Frenzies don't KO, and because they're debuffed, the Vine Whips do less, so it's really hard for them to farm down here. I make it to 2 Night Slashes, and so if they want to get Switch, they're going to have to double shield. So they commit a shield, so it looks like they're fighting for Switch, but they will have to give up both shields. And now, they're ready to do that, and they still don't farm me down. This high-rank Gliscor is amazing. We get the farm down, and now, let's see what they bring in, because they're down 2 shields and Switch. They send in level 50 Altaria. I was so caught off guard by this. I was just like, okay, you want to run that? All right, look at this. And I send in my level 50 Gligar. Now, Altaria cleanly beats Gligar in the 0 shields when they're both maxed out, but because of the fact that we have 2 shields, this should be fine. The Dragon Breaths do some damage, but we are able to make it to another Aerial Ace. At this point, I do realize the win con is not Gligar. I realize that I shouldn't just force them to throw the Sky Attack, and Ludicolo farms down. Now, they're going to be able to take me out with the Sky Attack, but I can send in Ludicolo. Now, they probably didn't switch out because they thought they might be able to make it to a move, but they're not, and now we have a Scald to throw into the Charizard. They can go for the Dragon Claw, but we can go for a Scald. Scald will be taking out the Charizard, and we are able to take that game. Into the next battle, and we lead Ludicolo into Cobalion. Now, I'm going to switch out because I have 2 better responses, and they're running Metal Claw. I mean, like I said earlier, this is 1,800, but, like, it's still 1,800. It's still over rank 20. What is this doing here? They throw a Sacred Sword, and then they send in Armored Mewtwo. Now, Armored Mewtwo is going to take super effective from these Night Slashes, and they're probably not going to like that. Night Slash does not do too much, because it's Armored Mewtwo, but I am going to be able to spam them. Now, the opponent is going to throw a move here just to take me out, but that's fine. They go for a Side Strike, and now I can just send in Ludicolo. Now, I will be able to make it to a Scald before they're able to make it to 2 Side Strikes, and I tank this 1 Side Strike. Now, I should be able to make it to a Scald. Now, I do throw here. I was thinking CMP, but they go for an extra Confusion, and that's not the best idea. They do try to catch on the Cobalion, though, and they send in Aurorus. So, I mean, mad props for the spice of Aurorus, but also, like, dude, what? They're going to be able to make it to a move here. Gligar should tank anything. And Aurorus has a very high attack stat, as evidenced by what just happened, but they're too low. Mewtwo will get farmed down by Gligar, but even if they are able to farm down Gligar, Ludicolo does farm them down. At this point, I decide, hey, we're going to 2-shield flex. So, well, Gligar does get taken out. We are able to take that game and get a 2-shield flex. This is probably the worst lead we could ever see, so I'm going to have to immediately send in Gliscor. The fact that the opponent's staying in leads me to believe that Gliscor is doing its job as core breaker. And the opponent, they do try to catch on a Togekiss. They're trying to like catch a Night Slash, I'm assuming. But the thing is, I have to throw Night Slash anyways, because that's the only thing I can do to hit for any real charge move damage. We get a boost though, so that's nice, but it's still not going to do too much to save us. We might actually be able to take switch advantage though, because another Night Slash should take him out. So unless they want to shield, we actually do get switch here because of that boost. The opponent does just let us take him out, and then they send in Giratina again. We make it to a Night Slash though, so this should grab a shield because we're boosted. The Night Slash doesn't grab a shield, but that does some pretty heavy damage. And I will be sending in Gligar. Unfortunately, our fast move does get denied, which isn't ideal, but we should be able to still nearly take him out with an Aerial Ace. They can go for another Ancient Power. Now, Ancient Power won't be doing too much to Gligar, but they do add up in the end. But I'll be able to go for a Aerial Ace. Aerial Ace nearly takes him out, which this is really sad because I really did not want to have to tank another charge move. But in the back, it's for Alligator. So I can go for a Dig here. And Dig should get them into Scald range. Because I think I just caught a Hydro Cannon. So now they should be basically dry on energy. You might be able to hear the airplane going above my house right now. I apologize for that. But I'm going to be able to go for a Scald. This Scald gets no debuff, unfortunately. And they did farm up enough to an Ice Beam, so I will be shielding. Now, I will be able to go for another Scald here. I'm really hoping for a debuff, because then Ice Beam is even less threatening. That if they get a debuff, then even if they do manage to land a bait, another Ice Beam probably won't take me out. They do go for another Ice Beam, though. And now, because they didn't even try to bait, I'm going to be able to make another Scald. And the Scald will take him out, and we are able to take that game. Into the next battle, and we see another Charizard lead. The Charizard leads are out in force today. If you guys want to comment how many Charizard leads I saw, because I honestly lost count, you can go ahead and do that. But it's basically the same thing. We just shield the first move, and this time we do get baited. So they should be able to make it to a Blast Burn a lot faster now. However, we do get a Scald debuff, so even if they do get a Blast Burn off, it still might not even KO. They go for the Blast Burn, and it does get the near KO, but they get a Farm Down, which is even worse, because now they might be able to make it to another Blast Burn, even if it is debuffed. They go for Dragon Claw, though. Dragon Claw does virtually nothing. And now I have Gliscor with energy. Now, they said in Giratina altered, so they must have something in the back that really does not want to see a ground type or a flying type. So I'm going to be able to just go for a Night Slash after Night Slash. This next Night Slash will do some nice damage as well. And so we're going to be able to tank the Ancient Power. And now I can go for another Night Slash. This will be on CMP. I wouldn't blame the opponent for shielding it because it would do some nice damage. But I'm hoping whatever they have in the back is weak to ground or flying, and not just because it doesn't want to see a Night Slash user. We do make it to a final Night Slash though, and well, this might KO, which it barely doesn't. We can just tank whatever move the Giratina left with. Dragon Claw doesn't do much, and in the back, oh no, it's Cresselia. This is the only thing that made me want to run Night Slash on the Gligar, because Aerial Ace is typically just better. But into Cresselia, if you don't have the Night Slash, you just lose. And we no-shield the actual Future Sight instead of like a Grass Knot bait. So this game is basically over. Like, I can keep throwing these digs. And we are able to get the Cresselia quite low. But at this point, I do realize I'm going to lose. So I just wanted to conduct some science and see, does Gligar win CMP? And I think that was CMP. We go for the dig, and it was CMP. So that 2,100 combat power Gligar does win CMP over Cresselia. And that's just beautiful, in my opinion. We do lose the game, though. We see Tapu Koko on the lead in the next battle. Pretty spicy. I would be switching out, except for the fact that they could just Nature's Madness to debuff me. And I'd rather not just have my defense debuffed and be switch locked. But now, the opponent does go for a move here. Nature's Madness should not KO. It'll come quite close, but it doesn't, and we are able to just get the farm down. The opponent sends in Tentacruel, and I am able to make it an Energy Ball. Now, Energy Ball will do some nice damage. I could have gone for Scald to fish for a debuff, but just not worth it. I send in Gliscor, and the opponent sends in Incineroar. So, I mean, this is perfect for Gligar. Now, they go for a Darkest Lariat. It's an amazing animation, but unfortunately, it doesn't take us out. And since they're on double kick, they never farm down. So, we're able to go for Aerial Ace after Aerial Ace. Now, they no-shield the next Aerial Ace. At this point, I can shield here, because despite being this low on HP, they don't farm down, ever. So we're going to be able to go for another Aerial Ace. And so they will get the shield. And then they send an Tentacruel trying to snipe. And we make it to an Earthquake. This Earthquake will easily take out the Tentacruel. And now they only have the Incineroar. And they just concede the match. We see Umbreon on the lead in the next battle. And Umbreon, well, it is not the best Pokemon to see like on the team just because how bulky it is. Ludicolo can just continuously debuff it with Scald if we get a debuff, which we do. So now this is just a winning matchup. These Foul Plays, or Dark Pulse, or whatever they're running, won't do too much now because they're debuffed. And Ludicolo should be able to win CMP against Umbreon, so if it does come down to CMP, we will win on that. The opponent then sends in Buzzwole, and it's Gligar time. Now, I send in Gligar here, like I usually send in Gliscor before Gligar, but I send in Gligar because Gligar has Aerial Ace and Gliscor doesn't, so Gligar is strictly better. We go for the Aerial Ace, doesn't take him out because we were debuffed, but now the opponent sends in Talonflame. Now, Talonflame can get kind of annoying, especially because Gligar is basically just going to get fully farmed down here, but we make it to 2 Aerial Aces, so the opponent might actually shield to preserve some HP, and they do. I'm guessing that's because they don't want to get farmed down by Bubble. But now I can send a Ludicolo as they try to snipe with Umbreon. And they go for a Dark Pulse, won't take me out, and they have to throw another one to try and take me out. Now, this will take me out. I decided no shield, and Gliscor up 2 shields will still just basically beat Talonflame, even if the Talonflame is at 100 energy. So they can go for a Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse will do some okay damage, and they do make it to another one, which is unfortunate, but we should be able to just tank it. Now, we leave with an absolutely absurd amount of energy. I can throw 3 Night Slashes, and since Gligar has an Aerial Ace banked, we're fine. But I decide that I'm just going to go and just overfarm, make sure that I don't throw an alignment, because that could prove fatal if they do decide to just go for the extra Incinerate. I get the Night Slash, get the shield. Oh, and we get a boost. So now Earthquake will do more damage than Night Slash. So Earthquake takes out the Flying type, and we do take that game. Into the next battle, and we see Aurorus on the lead. Now, Aurorus is a very good lead because they can only hit for neutral, or we can hit for super effective with everything we have. So we can go for a Scald. Scald might debuff them, and it actually does. I still will be shielding the Meteor Beam because Meteor Beam will do a lot of damage, and it could get us into Weather Ball range. The opponent then sends in Roserade, and yeah, we're going to send in Gliscor. They farm up to, I think, a Grass Knot, and it is a Grass Knot. That does some pretty nice damage, but the thing about this is that we can still tank a Weather Ball. And the opponent does just look like they're going to concede Switch, as they don't shield the Night Slash. But Weather Ball does not KO. We get a farm down. The opponent sends back in the Aurorus, and it looks like we tanked that Powder Snow. We're able to go for an Earthquake, and it just takes him out. They have Togekiss in the back, and now this is kind of game over. We can just go straight Aerial Ace. Aerial Ace will do some okay damage into Togekiss. Doesn't do the most damage, but because of the fact that we can spam them, it's fine. Now, the opponent should be shielding this one because they can risk getting farmed down. But even if they do shield that, we will make it to another Aerial Ace. And so this game is ours. Now, we can go for another Aerial Ace. This Aerial Ace will be able to get them quite low. And one more Wing Attack takes them out, and we take that game. We see another Togekiss on the lead. And now Togekiss is going to have to tank a Scald because we outpace them by a lot. Now, the Scald will do some nice damage. The opponent does shield it. Now, I will have to shield in return as Ancient Power or Aerial Ace or whatever would get me into farm down range for Charm. They do shield it. They then send in Sceptile, though, and now I'm going to send in Gliscor. Now, they go for a move here. If this is like a Solar Beam or a Frenzy Plant or whatever, I don't know if Sceptile actually does learn Solar Beam, but if it was a harder hitting move, I'd respect it. But we're actually able to grab a shield with a Night Slash, and we grab a boost. So now, if they go for a Breaking Swipe, the Breaking Swipe, even if it does get the debuff, we're still 1 stage buffed. Now, they can go for another Breaking Swipe. This will not take me out. They go for a Leaf Blade, though. And now we actually do not get a farm down. So now we actually do have to throw a Night Slash to take them out, which is unfortunate. But now they can send a Togekiss, so our energy really wasn't going anywhere anyways. So the Night Slash does some nice damage. We leave with a Scald. The game forces an Overtap, and if they'd switched out, I would have been really unhappy. But fortunately, we do just land the Scald. In the back, it's Incineroar. And this game's over. The opponent recognizes it, and they concede the match. We see Enamorus again. I thought one of these was enough for today, but apparently we see another one. Now, Fly will just straight up take out Ludicolo, so I will have to shield. The Fly does grab my shield, and now I should be able to pull shields back with my Scalds, and the Scald does grab the shield. Now, they do get debuffed, so I am going to be able to tank the fly, so I am going to catch it, and it doesn't do too much damage. The opponent then sends in Swampert, and, well, I mean, the ABB style team is working, but I would have rather had Gliscor bait out the Swampert so that Gligar could sweep. But now we can just send in Ludicolo. Ludicolo just kind of destroys Swampert. We've seen it before. Earthquake does some damage, but not too much. I'm going for an Energy Ball just to make sure I get the KO. Energy Ball does get the KO. Now the opponent sends in Giratina, and I mean, I'm happy to have Gliscor here because Gliscor is going to be able to tank anything basically. Now they can send in the Enamorus, but we have so much energy and we have a shield. Night Slash does grab their shield, and now at this point I can farm up 4 extra wing attacks because they need 5 Fairy Winds to make it to a fly, and we will lose CMP obviously, but Enamorus, so darn glassy, it will fall to this Night Slash, and we get a boost. I mean, that just seals the deal. We're going to be able to go for Night Slash with that extra damage, does some huge damage to the Giratina, and while another Night Slash won't take him out, gets them into range where even if they can take out the Gliscor, Ludicolo does farm him down. So this Night Slash is going to do some heavy damage, and we do get a farm down, we do take that game. See Regirock on the lead in the next battle. This is a very good lead as Scald and everything just hits for super effective. The opponent is staying in. It looks like they lagged a bit at the start though, so I think in this battle, I think I do wait a couple turns just to make sure that they get the right energy. And now if they can go for a move here, they go for Stone Edge, and it doesn't do much. They then send in Virizion, and I panic switch Gliscor. I really should have sent in Gligar here, as Aerial Ace hits for super effective into Virizion. But, like, Gliscor is walled, which is a serious oversight on my end. They go for another Leaf Blade, and now I will have to shield another Leaf Blade if I actually want to take out this Virizion, which is not a thing that feels very good. And we lose CMP. I didn't even know that we lost CMP there. I thought Gliscor won CMP, but guess not. I do actually go for a very slight Night Slash Undercharge to get 1 more wing attack. So now the opponent, they can send in Regirock, but I will be able to get their shield down with an Earthquake. I decided to bait here though. This is kind of risky because if I don't make it to an Earthquake, then I can just have thrown the match. But the bait works, and they are forced to throw. Very good energy counts to not lose their not lose their Regirock. And in the back, they have Trevenant, and Gligar just takes out Trevenant, basically. They do have an energy lead, though, so we actually don't win this because they can go for Shadow Ball, and they will win CMP on the Seed Bomb, which is not good, but the fact that Gligar nearly takes out an energy advantage Trevenant is quite funny. We will be able to just farm them down with 3 or 4 bubbles, and we can just go for a Scald, and this Scald will be taking out the Regirock, and we do take him out with this. Actually, no, it doesn't. I forgot Regirock's tanky, but we have 2 Scalds, so second Scald will take him out, and we do take that game. Into the next battle, and we see Feraligatr on the lead. Very good matchup, even if they are running Shadow Claw and Hydro Cannon and Ice Beam, because Ice Beam takes a while to reach, and the opponent does go for the Ice Beam, but I can just go Scald here. This is kind of risky bait because they no shield it. I can lose the matchup, but since they do shield it, it's fine. They didn't farm up to a Ice Beam here. Hydro Cannon does not take out Ludicolo. Like, just because Hydro Cannon is a very good move doesn't mean it's going to guarantee to take out Feraligatr. So we are able to pull shield advantage and switch advantage. The opponent sends in Annihilate. I will switch into Gliscor. And while the opponent probably does have Ice Punch, I can shield it. And now let's see what the opponent decides to do. It looks like they're just staying in so they can go for the Ice Punches. But because they don't know if I have Aerial Ace or not, they're probably going to shield the Night Slash, and they do. Now, I should be able to farm up 5 and then go for the Night Slash. So the opponent does recognize that, and they send in Stunfisk. Now, I make it to a Night Slash and an Earthquake here, so I decide I might as well just go for the Night Slash first to fish for a boost, because then a boosted Earthquake takes him out. But now I can go for the Earthquake. Stunfisk is very bulky, but Earthquake will be able to nearly take him out. And now I should be able to just bring in Gligar, and Gligar just takes this game for us. I was curious to see who won CMP, though, so I do farm to a CMP tie. Gligar doesn't win it, though, which is kind of unfortunate, but it really doesn't matter. We can go for an Aerial Ace. This Aerial Ace will take him out, and the Feraligatr, or sorry, not the Feraligatr, the Annihilate is too low, and Aerial Ace does take him out, and we take that game. Overall, Gligar is very fun. Like, I think this thing actually might have slight meta relevance, in the Ultra League. Like, I can't believe I'm saying that. But because of the fact that, like, there aren't many ground flying types, the fact that you can have 2 core breakers can actually make the team very strong. So I think it actually is pretty fun. Anyways, that's pretty much it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.